Oh, I miss. Oh! Oh, yeah! Right on target. Last one. Oh, yeah! Doing some target shooting, skeet shooting with my Paul McCartney coasters from the 2022 Got Back World Tour. Hi, folks. How you doing? Oh, my goodness. Matthew Street here. Welcome to the Matthew Street channel. I am your host, Matt Street, and I really appreciate you being here, folks. Folks, The Great Lost Beatles book by Mark Lewison. Now, we all know Mark Lewison, right? I mean, where do I begin with Mark Lewison? We all know the Beatles recording sessions, one of the greatest Beatles books, must-have Beatles books of all time. And I'm not talking about the complete Beatles Chronicle, which is awesome. Essential Mark Lewison Beatles book. You must have this. This happens to be my hard-covered version along with my Beatles recording sessions. And folks, no, I'm not talking about the great Tune In. The Beatles All These Years Volume 1. We are, let's see, this came out in 2013. No, we are waiting for Turn On and Drop Out, I assume, eventually. It's been 9 years since Tune In, All These Years Volume 1 came out, and I know we're waiting in bated breath for Volume 2, which I'm assuming will be called The Beatles All These Years Volume 2, Turn On, and then I assume the Volume 3 will be called Drop Out, right? We have to assume that, and I assume Part 2 is coming very soon. No, I'm not talking about any of those three books. Folks, I was going through some Beatles books and reshuffling some things, cleaning up my music room here a little bit. And I came across a Beatles book that I hadn't looked at in a long, long time. And I wanted to get your thoughts on it and see what you thought, if you have it, if you love it as much as I do. And when I came across it, I started flipping through it again. And I realized what a wonderful, wonderful Beatles book it is, folks, by the great Mark Lewison. I don't know if this was Mark's first ever book. I don't have all that background on it. All I can tell you is it was published in the United Kingdom in 1986. It's called The Beatles Live, the Ultimate Reference Book by Mark Lewison. It's in softcover. I don't believe there was ever a hardcover of this book, but I could be wrong. Folks, I had not discovered this in my collection in a long time. Hence, that's why I consider it a fabulous lost Beatles book, because lost to me, I haven't looked at it in a couple of decades or so, but also it's kind of a lost Mark Lewison book in general, because he's had so much notoriety and fame due to the Beatles Chronicle, the Beatles recording sessions, and certainly the 3-volume Beatles All These Years collection, which will be coming out, that I think sometimes people forget this one. This is where it all started, in my opinion, with Mark Lewison. This is where he laid the foundation of his great research, his studies into the Beatles in really great detail, and giving you factoids and pieces of information that you couldn't find anywhere else. And he's so accurate in doing it, you got to give the guy credit. And I think this is where it all started for him, because this book is impeccable, folks. The research that Mark put into this book, the work he put into this book is absolutely unsurpassed. It's just fantastic. Now, what I also love about this book is Mark actually thanks some people in this book that are not around anymore, that I'm sure he got some great information from. A treasure trove of information that we'll never get again from these people. I'm talking people like Neil Aspinwall, Mona Best, Tony Barrow, Colin Hanton, I believe, is still with us. Mike McCartney is still with us. Jimmy Nicol, who is very reclusive, still with us, but does not give a lot of information about the Beatles. Jimmy Savile, Derek Taylor. I mean, these are the kind of people Mark had access to when he wrote The Beatles Live, the Ultimate Reference Book. And it really paid off, folks, because this book is so accurate. It's just a great detailed account of every Beatles and pre-Beatles live performance. Similar to what he did with the Beatles Chronicle, with the detail of their everyday in the life of the Beatles throughout their career. Similar to what he did in the Beatles recording sessions, with very great detail as to their recording each day that they recorded. This is the live version of that. This is the detailed account of every live Beatles and pre-Beatles performance, from the Quarrymen audition in June of 1957 all the way up to Candlestick Park in August of 1966. Mark chronicles the excitement, the grit of those early shows, the hard work, the mania that came a little later on. It's just so present here in the Beatles' rise to fame, from their first early shows where, like, two people would show up, to the fame and the glory they had performing in stadiums, baseball stadiums. It's just unbelievable, folks, how they reached that pinnacle of live performance, starting, like I said, a Quarryman audition, 1957, to the pinnacle they reached. And he includes the facts, the figures, the first-hand memories and accounts of each performance. It's unbelievable, folks. How many people were approximately there, when it happened, how it happened, what happened, any special noted events that happened during each performance. It's all in here, folks. And what he does is very nice. Is like each section is an overview of a particular period. Okay, so you get pictures and graphics and commentary and details of each engagement in each section. All right, I'll give you a little gander at it to give you an idea. So here's the contents right here, and I'll read it for you. So you have a section called 57 to 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, and 66, and then a conclusion with a live engagement venue index. Okay, you get acknowledgments from Mark, and forward from Tim Rice, February of 86, and unbelievable. You start getting some great pictures right off the bat. Didn't the Beatles give everything they had? Famous John Lennon quote from 1980. Didn't the Beatles give everything on God's earth for 10 years? They sure did, folks. And it's chronicled in here in their live performances. Beautiful information, beautiful layout and pictures, commentary on each section. So here's the 57 and 59 section. First, you get a full commentary on that section with as many pictures as Mark could dig up and include, graphics, documents. It's all here. So here's the commentary section. I'm showing you one of 57 to 59. And then you get into that section's live engagements. And that's where he goes into a paragraph or two or three on each engagement from that period. Okay? And you see, you can get a lot of information about a particular gig, or just a little bit of information about a particular gig, but it gives you the 13 March of a particular year, and where it was held, what was the venue, how many people were there, some noted details about each show. It's absolutely fabulous. More gigs. I just want to show you a couple. And then right at the end of each section, so for 57, 59, after each engagement is highlighted, it goes into the music. And it tells you all the music songs the Beatles played during that era of live performance. Absolutely stunning to see some of the songs that I never knew they performed live are here. And you've got to love it, folks. And then they go into a particular year, 1960. After the 57, 59, you get the commentary. Again, I can't show you every section, folks. Commentary. Famous picture. And then you go into, here it is, the live engagements from that year, 1960. That's unbelievable. The music they played during that era. Unbelievable, the amount of music for 1960. The songs they were playing are absolutely phenomenal, folks. You got to check it out. 1961, folks, I I know many of you are going to be bailing soon. That's fine. I'm going to show as much as I can. It's just unbelievable. Beautiful pictures from that year of each section. Unbelievable. More pictures in the leather gear from 1960, which was a big year for that. Unbelievable. And then you get into the live engagements from 1960. I'm only going to pick one more section after this, folks. Just hang for a minute. Great picture of George and Paul there. 1960. Okay. And then you get into, more. God, they played that 1 year alone. They were just banging it out, folks. They were on fire. The amount of material they were playing, the live shows they did is just, it's unbelievable how they could do it. And the music from 1960 that they played. So many, wow, I mean, great songs. Unbelievable. I wish I could go through it all with you. And then we get into, let's jump ahead to another section here. A little later on section. They're a little shorter. All right, so we'll go up to 1965, one of the final ones. Again, you're getting great graphics, great pictures. Then you get a wonderful commentary on 1965. Some pictures, and then the live engagements. Everything, every performance from 1965 is listed and mentioned, and then the music they played from that year, which obviously now the song list gets much, much tighter and smaller when they get into their bigger later tours, but you could see a little bit of that, okay? So, folks, it's an absolutely phenomenal book, and what's nice is when this first came out, we got something very unique to this book that we had not really seen up to this point. You got a free disc in the back of the book here. Now, it's the Beatles' first radio interview, a very rare interview at that time in 1986. From October 28th, 1962, mere weeks after Ringo joined, it was at the Cleaver Clatter Bridge Hospital, Music with Monty Lister. And Monty, this young man, does an interview with the Beatles. I'll show you the flexi disc that came with it. It's in the back in a little sleeve. Monty does a fabulous little interview with the Beatles, their first radio interview ever, all right? And it's so cool to hear the Beatles at that young phase, Ringo just joining, talking about John, who's the leader. Ringo's the new boy in the band, and Ringo quotes actual weeks that he's been in the band. That he must have been counting up to that point. They talk about the Hamburg visits, how Love Me Do is their first release that came out, and the Tony Sheridan recordings, and they refer to their next single, which we all know is going to be Please Please Me down the road, and they even are so happy about it they can quote the catalog number of their next single. It's just unbelievable, folks. So that was a nice little bonus to get with this. Beatles was able to provide that flexi disc for us. And folks, I don't want this video to be too long. I want to get out of here within 15 minutes, but I just want to tell you, you can get this now. I remember for a while, this book was very hard to come by. You would have to pay upwards to $100 or more to find this, to get this book from somebody. It was that rare and that hard to get. It's become a little easier though recently, folks. So check eBay, check some other of your favorite sites, and put in The Beatles Live by Mark Lewison, Ultimate Reference Book, and see if you can get a used copy of this. I believe you can get it for a darn reasonable price now. I'm serious. So check it out, okay? That's it, folks. I just wanted to come back. I was going through some Beatles stuff. I found my Mark Lewison Beatles Live book. Hadn't looked at it in years. And I thought I'd share it with you, see what you thought of it. If you love it as much as I do. This is my first copy. I've taken very good care of it. And that's it, folks. Hope you're all doing well. I'm going to be back very soon. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I promise I will be back soon. Got some ideas in my brain finally, and I'll be back. Love you all. Thanks for being here as always. I appreciate it. Bye-bye, everyone.